Alright, in this video let's try to solve the equation 5 minus 5 divided by 2x, or 5 on 2x, is equal to 2x plus 7. Okay, so with algebra like this, there are only two important principles that we need to follow to be able to solve this equation, and the first one is get all of the unknowns on one side. Let's move all of the unknowns, the x's, onto the left-hand side of the equation. And the second principle is the equation is a balance. Okay, so if I draw a set of scales here, you may have seen this set of measuring scales, or you may have seen these scales held up by Lady Justice outside of law courts. The idea is we need to keep this set of scales balanced at all times. So if we have more things on this side of the balance and less things on here, if the weight on this side, doesn't equal this weight, well, the balance is going to tip over and rotate towards the left. So we need to even the balance up to keep the weights the same so that the balance always remains level. So principally what that is saying is what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side of the equation as well. So with these in mind, let's go and solve this equation here. 5 minus 5 on 2x equals 2x plus 7. So the first step, I already have this 5 on 2x on the left-hand side here. I have this 5 on the left-hand side here too. I want to get rid of that one so that we are left with just 5 on 2, or negative 5 on 2x on the left-hand side alone. So in order to do that, what if I subtract from the left-hand side a 5? And if I subtract a 5 from the left-hand side, I have to subtract a 5 from the right-hand side. So we see now here we have 5. And we have a minus 5, so 5 minus 5 equals 0, so these cancel out. And now here we have a 7 minus 5. Well, 7 minus 5 is equal to 2, and then I can copy down the rest of the elements from the above. Now for this step, I have a 2x on the right-hand side, which I want to move over to the left-hand side. So I can do that by subtracting a 2x on the right-hand side. And if I subtract a 2x on the right-hand side, I have to subtract also a 2x on the left-hand side. So 2 of x, or 2 of something, minus the 2 of the same thing. These cancel out. So I'm left with 5 divided by 2x minus 2x is equal to 2. Now we have some fractions to play with. So effectively here, this is 2 divided by 1 times x. So to get a common denominator between the 5 on 2, or the negative 5 on 2, and the minus 2, we have to multiply this fraction out by 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. So it's by 2 on the bottom, by 2 on the top. So what that effectively means is we have 5 on 2 times x minus 4 on 2 times x. And this is on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we still have the number 2. Now 5 on 2 minus 4 on 2, 5 on 2 of x minus 4 on 2 of x is equal to negative 9 on 2 of x, and that's equal to 2. Now what's left to do is to get rid of this 2 on the bottom, or actually get rid of this entire fraction on the left-hand side so that we're left with x on its own. Let's do this in several steps just to make it clear. So let's get rid of the 2 first on the bottom. So to get rid of the 2, we can times the left-hand side by 2. And again, we have to times the right-hand side by 2. So the 2 on the top cancels with the 2 on the bottom. So that leaves us with negative 9x is equal to 4. Finally, we want to get rid of this negative 9 on the left-hand side. So we can divide the left-hand side by negative 9. And we must then divide by negative 9 on the right-hand side. So negative 9 and negative 9 cancel. And we are left finally with x is equal to negative 4 on 9. And unfortunately, there are no common factors between the number 4 and the number 9, so this fraction can't simplify any further than that. So our final answer is x equals negative 4 on 9. Let's check if we have this answer correct. So originally we had the equation 5 minus 5 on 2x is equal to 2x plus 7. So the left-hand side of the equation we have 5 minus 5 on 2x, which is equal to 5 minus 5 on 2. Let's substitute in the result. So 5 minus 5 on 2 times negative 9 on 4, negative 4 on 9. Now in this operation we have a 2 on the bottom and a 4 on the top, and the common factor is 2. So the 2 on the bottom cancels down to a 1, and the 4 on the top cancels down to a 2. So we have 5 minus 5 times negative 2 on 9, which equals 5. So negative times a negative is a positive, plus 10 on 9, which if I make a common denominator between the 5 and the 10 on 9, we have 45 on 9 plus 10 on 9, which gives us 59 on 9. Now what do we have on the right hand side? On the right hand side we have 2x plus 7, which equals 2 times negative 4 on 9 plus 7. This is equal to negative 8 on 9 plus, okay, well 7 as a fraction is 63 on 9. So we have 8 minus 8 plus 63 on 9, so that's equal to 55 on 9. Okay, so I'm sorry, I've made a mistake here. This 5 is actually equivalent to 45 on 9. So 45 plus 10 is equal to 55. 55 on 9. My apologies for that. So we end up with 55 on 9 on the left and 55 on 9 on the right. So after all, when we substitute the result back, we have the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. So we are confident then that x equals negative 4 on 9 is the right result. Okay, now before I finish, a common mistake that I see people make is when they rearrange the equation, they want to get rid of this 2 on the bottom first, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to do that, we have to multiply the entire left-hand side by 2 and multiply the entire right-hand side by 2. Instead, what I see people do is they go 5 minus 5 on 2x by 2 is equal to 2x plus 7 by 2. And they end up with the result 5 minus 5x is equal to 2x plus 14. And then this line is not correct, so this line then ends up not being correct as well, and the rest of the working becomes incorrect. So if we think about the scales again, the weight that's in here and the weight that's in here, what we've effectively done in this step is to multiply only a little bit of the weight here by 2, but not the rest. And we've multiplied something else on this side by 2, but not the rest. So in that sense, we haven't kept the scales balanced. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are solving equations like this. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel for future videos that may help you with your math studies. And if you're able to make a small donation, I'd really appreciate that, because helping me to be able to make more content will be beneficial for everyone studying mathematics. Thanks for watching, and best of luck with your studies.